This is the Business Owners IT Podcast with Anthony Gerasch and Ryan Carter, where tomorrow's technology meets today's conversations.
Hi, I'm Tony Gerasch.
And I'm Ryan Carter, and this is the Business Owners IT Podcast.
A podcast where we discuss tips, tricks, and solutions for business owners involving all things tech.
And we don't give free network assessments.
There
I'm kidding. Speaking of free, the other day...
Nothing's for free.
The other day, I traveled to France, because that's what I do, and my email was blocked. I couldn't get in because of all these rules that you put in place around here, Tony. I couldn't get in. So you know what I did? I downloaded a free mule something or another VPN and was able to get my stuff.
Fantastic.
So that's good, right?
If it's for free, it's for me.
Yeah, it should be good, right? I mean, I got my emails. I looked at some sensitive documents. I did everything through that VPN.
Well,
it was perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, again, if it's free, then you're the product. But how can you trust them, right? I mean, how do you know that a free VPN? First of all, where was the software written? Where is it from?
Where's it hosted?
Where is the country of origin for this VPN? China? Russia?
I don't know,
Ukraine?
but it got me into the United States, so it should be fine, right?
Well, not really, because we can detect that, but it is true, right? People are using VPNs to try to mask what they're doing. I mean, the only reason to use a VPN is you're hiding something. There's no reason, right? Your SSL certificates are encrypted, right? So there's end-to-end encryption, right? But the VPN actually looks like you're coming from another IP address, is basically what it comes from. So what he says, well, yeah, I'm in France, but I want my email. I want me to look like I'm coming out of Texas, and I don't know why I always say Texas, but I see hundreds of Huntress blocks that says, "Hey, this guy's coming out of VPN out of Texas," and like, okay, yeah, how can Ryan be sitting here in France but also be in Texas? But anyways, who knows? But they try to use a VPN to mask their identity, and VPNs are, they have their purpose, but it's not. You're trying to, it looks like you're trying to hide something.
Yeah, and I mean, for you business owners, we do talk a lot about, like in Microsoft 365, they have conditional access policy. So I can block anything outside of the U.S. So if your employee travels or if you travel, usually you would want to let your IT person know so they could put you in like a traveling group so that that country you're going to could be allowed or something along those lines. But what's happening is some of these people are going on vacation and not telling their employer where they're going or what they're doing, and all of a sudden their email's blocked. And they don't want to call someone and say, hey, I'm in France or wherever I'm at in the Dominican Republic or whatever, and my email's blocked and I want to check it. So what they do, they go download. I mean, I've had, big guys with C's in their initial or whatever, their CEO, CFO, whatever they are.
C-level guys.
Yeah, those guys, those executives install free VPNs to get past this sometimes. And what's happening is that, you install the free VPN, it may work. For some reason, the iPhones do not like that. And I've had it where they shut down and they don't even allow email anymore because you probably had some type of masking on with that, and a whole nother podcast for that. But they get in and all that stuff. But the problem is, and if you were to Google this, business owners, what are the problems with using free VPNs? Like Tony says all the time, if it's free, you're the product, right? They are looking at your data. I mean, I don't have it to pull up because we're pulling up things all the time, but I think I saw a stat where 60% of the free VPNs are using, are reading your data. And it's true, because how else are they going to pay for that without selling your data, where you're traveling to, what you're doing, anything about you? Because now they can see everything. Because like Tony said, there's SSL certificates for websites, but they get broken during that VPN chain, and they can see where you're going, what you're doing, and how you're doing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, VPN, people. There's not a really good use for VPN unless you're trying to hide your identity. I mean, that's the only reason that, you'd want to use a personal one. Hide your identity. People who look at, they want to use a VPN because they don't want to be caught, right? People who...
Gross.
It's gross, but right? People who sell illegal drugs, they use a VPN because they don't want to be caught. They get to in the dark web is another one, right? Mm-hmm. People who want to, hide where they're at. That's the purpose for the VPN, really. And, law-abiding citizens, I don't see any reason to use a VPN. And if you are going to use a VPN, it's fine. You could use a paid VPN. There are some instances, like if you wanted to use a VPN when you're on a public Wi-Fi. That might be a good example, right? But I wouldn't use a free one. I would use a
trusted
paid for VPN. There are places for it, but the free ones, as a business owner, you shouldn't be using anything that's free.
I got another legitimate one that people use it for. You can get behind this one, can't you, John? That movie that's on Netflix, it's only allowed in Brazil. What do you do?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, use a VPN to watch it. I get it.
Well, yeah.
Okay, all jokes aside.
I mean, I guess that's true too. Like you could. That's another way, right? You're trying to mask your identity is really what you're doing. But it's the same thing with sports, right? Football. Like you can't necessarily see. You can't watch on Netflix and other places. Football.
Baseball's a big one. Blacked out baseball games.
You can't watch them unless you're in that region, right? Unless you're paying for it. Yeah. So there's another reason to do a VPN that takes you through another region to be able to do something.
Yep.
But you're really not supposed to be doing it.
And not a tip of the week, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, not a tip of the week, but that's another purpose that people use, right? So, and even with us, with the controls that we have in place, when people use VPNs, we end up locking their account. So if they try to look at their Microsoft 365 and they do a VPN, and again, I'm going to pick on Texas, they're coming through Texas, they're being locked, right? Because they know, well, this guy never uses a VPN, secondly, and thirdly, his computer's on in the office, right? So how can he be in Illinois and also be coming out of Texas?
Yeah. So, that's one thing to look at too. I guess it's my tip of the week, business owners, is you should have an acceptable use policy, especially for your guys' email and what they use on their personal devices. Because one thing people could do is they could put that free VPN, not for your email or your company stuff. They could put that free one on there to maybe skirt some of the Netflix things and watch a movie that's in a different country that's just not available here in the U.S. That happens. Or to watch sports or something like that. So, but if that VPN does come up, you should probably have a block policy, which we can do, through our MDRs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing, right? So, yeah, if you're in a big corporate environment and they're blocking access to Netflix and some of those other things, right, a way to get around it is to tunnel through a VPN. And basically what happens with the VPN, if you guys understand it, you have this tunnel, and all of your traffic goes through that tunnel, and the normal stateful inspection on firewalls cannot detect it. So it looks like it's a VPN connection to someplace, it bypasses most of the security stuff you have in place on your network.
Yep. So if it's free, you're the product.
Yep.
Probably shouldn't be using it. That's the big point of this episode,
Yep. And again, we're seeing a lot. Again, we have a lot of endpoints. We see very smart young users trying to get around that stuff. And a VPN is a way. And a free VPN, is free. And that's why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Someone's paying the bill. It's you and your data.
Yep. All right. Well, that's it about VPN. We kind of
take us home then.
Killed this horse, right? So I'd like to thank everybody for watching. And if you have any questions about VPN and paid versions of VPN that you could use, if you have a legitimate reason to hide your identity, leave it in the comments, and we'll give you some suggestions.
Yep, and we're going to bring back next week an old topic where we talk a little bit about what you should talk to your IT people about or your MSP about, what they're doing for you and how you can ask the right questions.
Yes.
Thank you.
Unique Computing Solutions. Your IT challenges solved.